Hi, I'm Dr. Jeffrey Grammer. Welcome to Grammer State of Mind, where we explore the intersection between psychology and politics. This week, we saw something absolutely tragic happen. Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle Singer Reiner, were murdered in their home. Their son has been arrested on suspicion of that murder, and the media has reported that he has a history of both addiction and mental illness. But Donald Trump responded with a Truth Social post that was just heartless and candidly sociopathic in its tone. And he said, quote, "A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away, together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump Derangement Syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. I cannot begin to express just how ridiculous and dangerous this kind of rhetoric is. Suggesting that his death was caused by an incurable affliction because he opposes the autocratic policies of Donald Trump. I don't think this was just an impulsive misstatement or a lapse in judgment. I actually think this could be a very deliberate reassignment of blame. That a violent crime was committed as some sort of moral accountability for his critiques of the things that Donald Trump stands for. Calling this Trump derangement syndrome, that's not a medical diagnosis. It's a rhetorical tool. And it functions by criticizing disagreement as a mental health pathology. So anyone who doesn't agree with Donald Trump is somehow mentally ill. Think about that for a second and what it means for free speech and a functioning democracy. That if you don't believe everything Donald Trump says, you are unwell and you invite violence into your life. That is wrong. That is immoral and that is dangerous. It has no place in this country. It is a dog whistle to his supporters. The same way that he pardoned the January 6th violent rioters at the Capitol, he is now saying that this death was not some tragedy, not some family catastrophe driven by refractory mental illness or addiction or even just violence. It is because of Rob Reiner's political views, and therefore it's his fault. This is what authoritarian leaders do. It serves several functions. It strengthens his group loyalty. It reframes disagreement with the MAGA mindset not as legitimate discourse, but as a mental pathology, and thereby should either be completely discounted, marginalized from society, or face some sort of accountability or retribution. And that's ridiculous. Trump says a lot of dumb stuff, and he's normalized saying dumb stuff as president. And I want to remind folks, this guy has the nuclear launch codes. When a president looks at a double homicide as a political opportunity, it shows a vitriol and hate and a lack of compassion that really speaks to a kind of character that we should not normalize. This isn't okay. And he uses this to shore up his base, to entrench his tribalism, to cast others outside the MAGA circle as wrong, illegitimate, ill, and worthy of being discarded. And I would challenge those elected GOP officials to finally stand up and begin to demand accountability, whether your office re-election viability is threatened by it or not. You serve the Constitution and your constituents. You do not serve Donald Trump. You should not serve a president with this kind of absolute disregard for human life. Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle, deserve better in their memory. They're not props for some political performative theater. They have contributed to society, and they have expressed beliefs that they felt convicted about, and they did not deserve what happened to them. And nobody does, regardless of belief system. And for the MAGA out there, that includes Charlie Kirk. I don't agree with almost everything he has said, and I found him to be offensive, and I found him to be deeply problematic from a policy standpoint. But he did not deserve to be shot, and the Reiners did not deserve to be stabbed to death. And we are not a country that settles our political differences with violence and death. The people who either directly or indirectly act like that is okay, that's the pathology. That's the group that should be marginalized and incarcerated. Because in this country and around the world, killing other people because they express an opinion different than you is not okay. So with that, I want to thank you for listening to me today. If you find what I have to say helpful or enlightening, please consider liking and subscribing down below. I'll continue to try to put out content. Unfortunately, I think Donald Trump is going to continue to give us opportunities to put out new content. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, and stay compassionate. Thank you.